Okay, hello, it is audible, na? Audible and visible also. Hello, hello, is it audible? Hello, hello.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So whatever we have discussed orthogonal frequency division multiplexing for this exam, that is for the semester exam, you may have to ask. They may ask that the WFDM block diagram. Okay. Previously, we have lots of we have discussed to last 2-3 days about the OFDM, but everything for the purpose of concept only. Okay. For the final exam, final semester exam, they may ask regarding the block diagram mainly. But to understand the block diagram, we have to discuss little bit things that we have discussed. Finally, if you don't want to remember the previous portion of OFDM, okay, it's okay. But you have to remember this block diagram. Okay, this block diagram tells you uh, what is the IFFT, which is we have to perform this IFFT at the transmitter side, FFT at the receiver side. Okay, we have to add some cyclic prefix code at the transmitter, and you have to remove the cyclic prefix code at the receiver side, and some multiplexing demultiplexing process is going on. Okay, these symbols X is converted into small x, which is samples, which are actually samples, and these samples are transmitted. In overall, I am telling, these samples are transmitted through the channel, and at the channel we are receiving the samples denoted by small y, then performing this FFT process, and finally we are getting again capital X. Capital X is nothing but the symbols. That means symbols we have transmitted capital X, and we have received capital X as symbols. In between that, symbols converted into samples. Again, at the receiver side, samples converted into symbols by using two processes, IFFT and FFT. And cyclic prefix are added at the transmitter side and removed at the receiver side. These are the explanation of WFDM block diagram. Now, one numerical is there. Just to remember this expression. Okay, this expression derivation is there, but we will do in the 7th semester how this derivation is coming. Okay, but for this time, sometimes they are asking. It's not that much important. Even though you try to remember this formula to find out the bit error rate of WFDM. Bit error rate of WFDM. Suppose thousands number of bits are transmitted. Out of the thousands bits, suppose 100 bits are in error. So 100 by 1000 is the bit error rate. Is the bit error rate. Okay. So for that, they will tell some values of L, capital L. N is the number of subcarrier that you are transmitting. In the subcarrier, there is some symbols. 256N is the subcarrier or symbols you are transmitting through the channel capital L, which is equals to 16, and put all these, and its SNR value will be also given here. You put all the values here, you will get the value of bit error rate. Okay, SNR is nothing but signal to noise. So capital P is the signal power, and noise power is this one, rho square is the noise power. Okay, up to this is the wave gain. Okay, this numerical we are not discussing. It is not for this time being. It's not required. Now after this we have one more discussion. That is the module 3. Module 2 it is actually. Not 3, module 2. In the module 2, there is some concept of orthogonality, orthonormality. Okay. Then geometric representation of signals. Then one more thing is there, that is the Gram-Smith. Okay, that next we will discuss. So today we are discussing this module 2. Okay, so in module 2 there is some concept of what is orthogonal. Orthogonal is nothing but, suppose we have two basis functions. These are basis function. If you can remember, in the case of ASK, BPSK, FSK, MSK, QPSK, everywhere, for every digital modulation techniques, we have used some basis function, and those basis functions are denoted by phi. So phi IT, phi JT, all these are basis functions. So we're considering that two basis functions we have. If this condition satisfies, then we will say that these two basis functions are orthogonal in nature. That means if two basis functions we have, phi IT, phi JT, integrate over a bit duration or symbol duration capital T, okay, and if it gives you some constant value, some 1 to something or some constant value, when the value of I goes to j, remember, when the value of I goes to j, then this condition is nothing but the orthogonal condition, orthogonality. Okay, after that, some example I have taken here. Suppose this is your phi 1, this is your phi 2. Phi 1 is suppose this kind of something, phi 2 is suppose this one. Now you put these two values in this expression. This phi and this phi. This phi and this phi. If you are using these two things. So just I put here all the values. Integrating over 0 to t. Writing in this way. Okay. Then 1 by t. Okay. This is the integration over a full cycle, which will give you 0. That means this condition satisfies. That means this condition satisfies. Okay. So that means what actually? Actually, whenever I is not equals to j, these two are different things. If you are performing integration over that, we are getting 0. We are getting 0. That means orthogonal. That means these two functions, this sine and this cos, this and this are orthogonal to each other. That is the orthogonality condition with some example. That is the first case, first thing. Next thing is that orthonormal. Orthonormal is nothing but calculation of the energy of the signal. How to calculate the energy of the signal? Square the signal, then integration over the symbol duration, that is 0 to t. T is the symbol duration. So now this is the equation. If this equals to 1, that means this is a condition of orthonormal. Orthonormal. Actually, this integration gives you the energy of the basis function. Phi is the basis function. So energy of the basis function is square of the basis function, integration, then integration. And if this equals to 1, then we can say that this basis function phi I is a orthonormal. So these are two important definitions. One is orthogonal, one is orthonormal. Okay. And again, I have taken something as an example of phi 1, suppose. So phi 1 is your, suppose, cos of 2 pi fct. The same thing we have taken, phi 1 actually. This phi 1 I have taken, this phi 1. Okay, just using trigonometric identity, we have this one. Perform some integration process here. You will have 1. That means this is equals to this. That means we can say that this phi 1, this phi 1 is the orthonormal function. This phi 1 is the orthonormal function. Orthonormal condition satisfied. That means this is the orthonormal function. Now, one important thing that we will discuss next is that Gram-Smith orthogonalization process. Gram-Smith, GSOP, Gram-Smith orthogonalization process. Okay. So this topic we will discuss next day. But before that, today one more topic we will discuss. That is geometric representation of signals. Very important. Geometric representation of signals. Okay. Suppose very clearly, you listen this one. Very interesting, and we have already used this geometric representation. We have already used in the case of QPSK. In the case of QPSK, if you follow the class notes previously, capital M, number of energy signals are there, which will be transmitted. So capital M is the number of energy signals or the transmitted number of energy signals. Same. So, and this is these signals, energy signals are denoted by this one, XIT. M number of symbols are there. So I equals to 1 to M, and this is written in this way, X1, X2, XMT. Then capital N. This is the number of orthogonal basis function, that is phi actually. Capital N is nothing but phi. Number of orthogonal basis function, capital N. And some condition is there, N always will be less than equals to M. That means number of basis function will be less than equal to number of message points. That means number of signals. So that is the definition of capital M and capital N. Now, what about this XIT? Okay, this XIT is nothing but, now we are performing some modulation process actually, and we want to transmit that modulated signal. So modulation process means what? We must have some message signal and some carrier signal. So in the case of digital modulation techniques, we have seen that carrier signal is nothing but some basis function. Carrier signal is nothing but some basis function. So if this X, now this XT is your XI1 up to XIN. XI1 is multiplied by phi 1, XI2 is multiplied by phi 2 up to phi nt. So this whole expression we can write down in this way, where capital N we are denoting by small j equals to 1 to capital N, x of I, then 1, 2 up to n. So that is denoted by j, and phi 1, phi 2, phi n, that is nothing but your phi j. So now this is nothing but your this one. Now use some diagram to represent these expressions. That is nothing but the transmitter section. Transmitter section. This is the generalized transmitter section for all digital modulation techniques like ASK, FSK, QPSK, M-array, QAM, M-array, PSK, for all. Now what is going on here? From this expression only, xi1 phi 1. So xi1 is multiplied by phi 1. xi2 multiplied by phi 2. Similarly, xin is multiplied by phi n. Multiplication, these are nothing but product modulators. Added all, we will have xit. That is the process of modulation. Now I have taken two examples here. One is ASK, one is BPSK or BASK, binary ASK or binary PSK. So for binary ASK, we know that these are two things. This is used when bit 1 is transmitting. This is used when bit 0 is transmitting. For BPSK, this is used for one transmission of 1. This is used for the transmission of 0. Okay, that means this phi 1, this is also phi 1. That means for BPSK or ASK only, this line will be there. This portion will be there. As I told that, this is the general thing for any kind of digital modulation technique. But for BPSK or BASK, this portion is only used. Where phi 1 is there, in the expression see phi 1 is there, phi 1 is there, phi 1 is there. And xi1 is nothing but root of EB or minus root of EB. In the case of BPSK, for the transmission of 1 and 0, similarly, xi1 will be root of EB or 0 in the case of the transmission of digit 1 and digit 0 respectively. So this diagram used for all kind of digital modulation techniques. I have taken two examples here, BPSK and BAS. Suppose if I am explaining for one digital modulation technique for this, then we can see that one basis function is there, phi 1 and phi 1 only, multiplied by xi1. xi1 is nothing but root of EB minus root of EB for digit 1 and 0 respectively in the case of BPSK. So this is the modulation portion or in the transmitter section. Whatever the modulation techniques are, the basic principle is this block of this portion of. Similarly, receiver section will be there. We know that we have seen in the receiver section, this signal is transmitted XIT. Coherent detection. Coherent detection means the input signal XIT will be multiplied by phi 1. X2 will be multiplied by phi 2. Like this continue, the process will continue. That means this that is represented by this block. This is received at the receiver side, XIT. This is received at the receiver side. Once again. Okay, this is received at the receiver side. This is this XIT multiplied by phi 1, phi 2, phi 3 up to phi n. These phi are nothing but basis function. These phi are nothing but basis function which is having same frequency, same phase as the transmitter side. That is why this detection process is actually the coherent detection process. Coherent detection process. After this product modulator or multiplier, we have some integrator. So this xi, which is transmitted, multiplied by some basis function, we have this one, where xit is summation of xij and phi. Xit, here you see, xit is summation of this one. So this signal actually is multiplied by phi at the receiver side. This signal multiplied by phi. Then this whole thing is passed through some integrator. That means this signal is passed through some integrator. So I have written this one. Okay, summation and x taking out of the integration. So we have we have only this part. This is nothing but will give you the orthogonal condition if x and k and j are both are equal. So whenever both are equal, from the orthogonality condition, we will have value 1. Whenever k equals to j, that time from the concept of orthogonal, from the definition of orthogonality, when both are equal, at that time we have some constant value of the integration. So we have some, this will give you some constant value that you have, suppose 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever, multiplied by x of ik or x of ij. Both are same thing because j equals to k. So x of ij or ik, whatever. Now, this x of ij or ik, we are representing by x of I1, x of in up to x of in. X of I1 up to x of in. So these x of I1 up to in are nothing but the received symbol which was transmitted from the transmitter side. This symbol which was transmitted from the transmitter side, which is the actual message signal, which is multiplied by the carrier signal, which is actually basis function, and adding all of it. So this is the message signal, this is the carrier signal. Again, this is the message signal, this is the carrier signal. Multiply and add, then transmit. At the receiver side, we want to get back only the message signal. The message signal is nothing but this one. By using product modulator and by using some integrator. Product modulator and integrator. We got this x of I1 up to x of in. And this portion is known as correlation receiver, where multiplier followed by some integrator. So up to this we have discussed today, and we can say that this is the basis or basic principle of digital modulation technique, receiver and transmitter. So this is the basic principle of receiver transmitter section of all digital modulation technique, and this is the basic block diagram of receiver section of all digital modulation techniques, where some multiplier, some integrator will be there. For this case, some product modulator, some summer will be there, summing element. So up to this, today we have discussed. For any doubt, you can ask, or we'll leave the class now.